What I love about New Albany is the 4th of July parade.
Sports.
Starbucks. My other home.
Very supportive to my business, and I think businesses in the area kind of all look out for each other.
Everything.
Well, let's go ahead and get started. Aaron, thanks for coming, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This is an amazing opportunity to share the story of Form 5.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And as usual, like I've got another guest who's probably more familiar with Brickhouse Blue than I am. So just what's a little bit of your background or just kind of like your relationship with Brickhouse Blue?
Yeah, so I attended the opening. I've been familiar with Innovate New Albany. So I got invited to the grand opening. Almost a year ago now,
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Was just absolutely impressed with the space and just I think leveling up the opportunity for entrepreneurs, innovators in the New Albany area to like have a space, an ecosystem. It's been really cool to watch it grow over the last last year.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we're not sure if we've met before. We think we should have if we haven't. It was like maybe around COVID time.
Yep.
But I've been following you on social media, I feel like forever. I've always been like just super impressed with the story and just what you're doing. And I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about it, right? Other than kind of like what I've seen on social media. So I'm not sure where to start.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's start with like New Albany High School. So you're a New Albany grad.
Yeah. So, I have to even start before then, because I think it's really important to note that I get to flash a card that not many people get to flash, which is that I'm old New Albany, which I know a lot of people are like, what does that even mean? My grandpa and his mom moved into the community in the 40s.
Oh, wow.
He graduated from what was then Plain Township High School in 1951. And then my dad graduated from New Albany in 1984, his siblings in the 70s. I'm 6 of 8 cousins that all graduated from New Albany. So our family's been here for quite some time. And so I am the baby. I'm the very last.
That's awesome.
And so I graduated from New Albany High School in 2017. And really during my time in high school, was known for the research and development that I was doing within the kind of adaptive products, prosthetic space, because I was born without my hand. And so that's really kind of what set me on this amazing journey. And the New Albany community has been absolutely 100% behind me and supporting like a teenager's dream that's like now reality.
Yeah. It's this wasn't an accident. You were born like this, right? So,
Correct.
I mean, did you tell me what that was like? Like, what's it like growing up? Like?
It has its own challenges. I learned to cope with it and, figured out what worked and what was more challenging. But I think the biggest thing for me growing up was like the lack of representation.
Yeah.
Seeing someone that looks like you doing the things you dream of doing, it makes it real in your own mind. And when you don't see that, you're like, oh, it's like a negative thought pattern. I have one hand. I want to play the cello, but there's like no one I've ever seen play the cello. So like, that's probably just not something that I can do.
Yeah.
But really it's a matter of like having a community and having access to the right tools to be able to like, oh, I just need something that attaches my arm, hold the cello bow. That's kind of been this journey that I've been on. I do not play the cello. That's on my list of things. I want to play an instrument so bad. But like, I think that's like the amazing thing with the organization I started, Form 5. I get to be the person I needed growing up.
Yeah,
there's
really
so
cool.
many things that just access to community, that connection so important. But like all the things I shied away from as a kid, I could have done. I just didn't have the right tool to help me do it.
Yeah.
And so I look back on my childhood and I think, wow, if Form 5 existed then, I would be playing the cello. I'd probably play multiple instruments. I'd be doing all the things. And so it's on the list. I'm going to do it.
That's awesome. I guess so. Like, at what point was it? I guess like what made you want to get into like this engineering and innovation and like inventing?
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. For the longest time, I've tried to like figure out like where did this love for technology start? I was like a techie kid. So like, if you had a problem with your computer and you were a relative of mine, I probably helped you. Like I was tech support. Printer's not working, call Aaron. Like that was always me as a kid. So like technology was always my thing. And honestly, my whole, at 14, my thought for the future was like, I want to go to school for photography and film. I was super into that. And then like, just started researching 3D printing and just, what was being created for folks with physical disabilities. And I was like, wow, like this is really cool. This is like a blend of like, it solves a real problem that like I'm personally facing.
Yeah.
But it's also like using my technology and my skills to like do something cool, like make a difference. And so I've just always been kind of a techie kid. It's probably the best way to put it. But I taught myself 3D printing, basically kind of long story short, like how it all started. I was in my sophomore year of high school. Really everything that like the beginning of Form 5, the genesis of it all, it's just really everything happened so miraculously.
Yeah.
Like I was just a kid, researching 3D printing, and I'm like, I will never see a 3D printer. It's too expensive, like whatever. The school district the next year got a grant and like got a fabrication lab and had 3D printers. And I was like, oh my God, like this is a lot more real.
Yeah.
I just, had done research, on my own. And then when the school implemented their fabrication lab, there was only like one teacher. It's like a new facility. It's like one teacher who's trained, one guy has a key to the room. And so I found out who it was. And, I just mustered up the courage and was like, I think it was like lunch period or study hall or whatever. I like, went to the building that he was in. I knocked on his door and I was like, hey, you have no idea who I am. I'm not in any of your classes. Like I've never, taken a robotics class or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, but like, this is the research that I've done. I know you're the dude with the key to the printer. Would you like help me? Like, I want to learn from you. And this is like my project. And so pretty much in study hall, at lunch, after school, I would be in there working. And I was like at that time, really the only student that was like using the technology, like not in class or not to make a keychain. It was like something real. And so the end of my sophomore year, I had 3D printed my own prosthetic arm and like completely changed the trajectory of my life. Like, and really has set me on this path of like helping other people that look like me and connecting with them and understanding their barriers. Because I think the thing I learned, obviously the technology, the advent of 3D printing is, shaping industries in new ways. But the thing that was disconnected that I was like, this is really the magic of what I wanted to create Form 5. I, as a person with a limb difference, know what I need.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have duct taped and hacked my whole life to work for me. Why not turn those things into actual solutions so that the whole community benefits? Then someone sees someone that looks like them doing the things that they want to do.
Absolutely.
And so that was like the idea.
So
how do I now, something that was very personal, like creating a arm for me, turned into this could help a lot of people like me pretty much overnight.
Yeah. So the school already had the printer.
They did, yes.
Did they have to upgrade once you started? Like,
no, I ended up just advancing so quickly that, on my 16th birthday, back in the day when Kickstarter campaigns were a big deal, I ran a Kickstarter campaign and I raised $2,400 and purchased my own 3D printer to have in my basement and just was tinkering around and doing that pretty much the rest of high school. And then started the nonprofit literally 3 months after I graduated high school. And so
that's awesome.
We just celebrated our eighth anniversary this summer, which has just been, it's been incredible. I mean, to see the way the community has rallied around this, and like we're still here and people know about us and we're growing our programs and we're getting ready to expand, nationwide. It's like, it really is like, it's like a dream come true for me that I get to do this.
That's crazy. So when you started like tinkering with the printer, was it specifically for like your goal of a prosthetic, or was it like it was just one of those pieces of technology that you enjoyed?
I very much had the goal
to intentional.
Intentional and research and develop like just different solutions for myself. And around that time, I was also connected to a community of people with limb differences. And so locally and nationally. And that's when I was like, wow, this is actually like not just a problem I'm facing.
Yeah.
And so wanted to start just reaching out and like understanding what needs were out there and how I could help. And so when I went to get my undergraduate degree, I took a gap year and then went to Ohio State Fisher College of Business. We were just kind of taking on cases here and there, really when I had time.
Yeah.
There was still so much of like, when you're 18 years old and you're like, I have to create a board and I have to like fill out all this paperwork and all, that takes time and just laying that foundation. But once that kind of got all kind of settled, I was like, I want us to just like rapid innovate.
Yeah.
And so, we had the concept was there. Listen to people with limb differences, have the resources and technology to solve their problems. That was it. And how can we just rapid innovate? And so I had this idea for a workshop called CoFab. And CoFab stands for Collaboration and Fabrication. And basically, it's Form 5 walking the talk. We want to include people in our product development. And so at CoFab, we identify one person with a limb difference who has a very specific need or has multiple needs. Hey, they're, it's an 8-year-old boy who wants to play the cello or wants to play t-ball, or it's a woman who lost her arm who wants to get back into the workforce. And so we pair that individual with a team of college students and industry mentors. So people who work at Honda and Battelle and all these major corporations across Ohio volunteering their time over 4 weekends, and we develop completely from scratch a solution for that person for free.
That's so crazy.
And like we would like the things that we've created, we would have never thought of them in a million years
if you didn't have somebody.
if we didn't like listen to what the community needs.
Yeah.
And
Man,
as a
that's
result,
awesome.
what we create is super impactful, because when I compare what Form 5's doing to what's happening currently in the industry is, one, not listening to what people need.
Yeah.
And they're pushing this high tech, high cost solution. Obviously there's been amazing technology advancement in robotics and bionic technology. They have all these, really highly expensive bionic arms that are really, really cool. Like they look amazing, but they actually don't help those people do much at all in their daily life.
Wow.
And so really what we've learned through listening, of course, is that people need solutions for different things in their life. So the thing that the product that they use to put their hair up is different than the product they use to ride their bike or to play an instrument, or they need multiple things, especially an upper limb. There's been a lot of innovation in the prosthetic industry, but I think really in the last 10 years, it just hit upper limb. Yeah. There's a lot of research in lower limb. And I always give this example, someone, whatever circumstance may be, they lose their leg, they, get fit for a prosthetic, and, they get a prosthetic that's for everyday use. It has a foot, you can put your shoe on it, whatever. But if that person's like, oh, I want to be a marathon runner, they have to go back, get a completely different type of prosthetic.
Yeah.
It's so specific to running, it's not called a prosthetic, it's called a blade. That level of intentionality and designing something with a specific use, it's not really happening in upper limb right now.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the high tech $30,000 plus bionic arm, and they market it in a way that's like, it'll help your kid do everything, which, like, as I'm not a parent, but I could only imagine hearing like, oh my gosh, this is like what my kid's needs. It'll help them do everything they've ever dreamed. Like we need to get this thing, and it doesn't help them. I mean, we've had kids come to us who have that type of technology, and they're like, I just want to play softball. Like, this does not help me play softball.
Yeah.
I don't want it to break, the motors and the sensors to break by the impact of catching a ball. It doesn't even fit into a glove to catch a ball. So like, we design very specific solutions that help people do the things that they love. It evens the playing field.
Man, that's so cool.
It's really, really cool. I mean, I feel so blessed that like I found my thing at such a young age.
Yeah.
But like, it's now like, I mean, yeah, it's my job, but like I get to do what I love every day.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And I get to see that it helps people like in front of me every single day, which is just a massive blessing.
It's amazing. So like when you're building this technology, and maybe it's evolved since you started, but I guess I didn't realize like you're looking for those specific things. So when you say you have a case, like you're not trying to build a retail, gadget that anybody can use. These are specific to the client that you're serving.
Absolutely. We meet individual needs. And I think as a nonprofit, the last 8 years, that's what we've been known for. The way people ask, how do people find us? It's the most organic way possible. Like I will I'll do a podcast interview. Then next thing I know, I'll be like, oh, I met so-and-so at the zoo and I told them about you and their daughter was missing her hand and maybe they could, those people reach out to me.
That's awesome.
Those levels of connections are just amazing. And so One example, this summer, there was a young boy who was in the marching band at a local high school, and he was born without his fingers. And I've known him and his family since he was younger.
Yeah.
And his family just reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, he's getting really serious about playing the trumpet, and we have some type of contraption that he like puts on his hand to like hold the trumpet, but it's like he's growing and it's digging into his skin. It's not comfortable." And they're like, "We really want to like get him a nice trumpet, but like we don't know how to like make this work as he advances."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Bring him in. Like we have interns this summer. This would be a great project for them." And so the interns this summer created just like we take on cases like that
That's
all the time.
awesome.
And now he's in marching band and like rocking it. And like that's the power of Form 5.
Yeah.
And so while we've been doing that the last 8 years, we're focusing on how our impact can grow. And so that's why I've been hitting the pavement in multiple ways the last few months, because we've invented a product called the bike arm adapter. And so I'll kind of explain the story about that in a minute. But like, this is an opportunity for Form 5 to take something we made for one person.
Yeah.
And over the last few years, we've tested it with multiple user groups.
Yep.
We want to take this to market. We want to be able to provide this and make it accessible to everyone. Because riding a bike is a huge, huge piece of development.
For sure.
It's obviously, there's a physical aspect, of course, a health aspect to it. Just being able to get on your bike and ride and feel good and physically fit and whatever. But it's also social emotional. Having an outlet. So like if mental health is a concern, and having the ability to just get on your bike and think and not be crowded with a bunch of noise in your phone and everything. But also like emotional and social, like being able to like, as a kid, you get on your bike and you're like, I'm going to the pool with my friends. Mom and dad, I'll see you at dinner time. Like whatever it is. There's a lot of kids with limb differences not doing that. They're not riding.
Just because
they just can't.
Yeah.
Like, think about riding a bike with one. I mean, you can ride a bike with one hand. It's not very comfortable, especially for a long time. Not very good for balance. But a lot of folks, they'll like lean over and like, so it hurts your shoulder and your neck. Your posture's all messed up. I was able to ride a bike as a kid. And it wasn't until we started doing more testing with kind of our child user groups that I realized like I knew how to ride a bike, but like I never rode my bike. Like, and the reason why is because it wasn't comfortable. And because there were so many, folks we would survey and they'd be like, yeah, my kid rides their bike. And I'm like, okay, like, well, like, where do they ride their bike? Oh, they just like ride in the driveway. And it's like, oh, for how long? About like maybe 5-10 minutes. Maybe they're limited and maybe they need the right tools to be able to actually ride their bike. And so, and even on the far side of that, and I've had to kind of check my own bias and working with adult user groups. I'll chat with folks and, I obviously, we always lead with like, let's listen and have like that empathy session first before we're like, pushing, hey, there's a solution. We want you to try this, just to see what's worked, what's not worked. And so many folks who are older have just learned to adapt. And sometimes in a very unfortunate way, because they're just like, well, there was nothing like that for me as a kid. So like, I just never bike. Like I just don't do it. And it's really sad. And when I talk to some folks, there's definitely a level of pride. This is where I have to check my bias where, and I've learned to approach it a different way. Cause having someone come up to you and go, oh, there's this product, it'll help you ride your bike better, blah, blah, blah. Some people are like, well, I don't need that. I know how to ride a bike. I can ride. And it's more of like a proof of like, I'm able to do it. But I've had to like rephrase it and reframe the conversation where it's like, I know you can ride your bike. I can ride my bike too without the bike arm adapter, but maybe there's a better way now.
Something just
there's
a little more
something that's going to make it a little more comfortable. And so, but there's many times in my life and other circumstances where like I realize I do the same thing. I'm like, oh, have you ever tried blah, blah? It's like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can cut my own food. I can blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, no, like no one's saying that. They're just saying maybe there's a better way. But I think for the longest time, and it's not just people with limb differences, I think the broader disability community has just accepted how inaccessible things are. It's like, well, I think about people like who utilize a wheelchair and they're like, oh, well, there's no, accessibility ramp for me to get in the pool. So I guess I'm not going to, they never go to the pool. They never swim. They never do any of that. Like, and they just
Yeah.
need the right thing to be able to do it.
Man, that's awesome. Really, really cool. Man, I got so many questions. So, like, tell me some of give me an example, like one of your favorite cases, or like a prosthetic or problem that you solved that like was maybe super innovative or unique. Or is it the bike?
I would say it's the bike arm adapter.
So
and-
describe that a little more then.
Yeah. So, I guess to kind of give a little background on how it came to be, then I can kind of go into more specifics of like how it all works. So, we had our very first CoFab. And so we accepted a woman who in her middle age was looking to be able to get back on a bike. She was able to ride a bike as a kid, but not, very well. It was uncomfortable, and hadn't been on a bike, since childhood. And she had a dear friend of hers who was diagnosed with cancer. And she was like, everyone knows about Pelotonia. She's like, I volunteer. I've been at the finish line. I've cheered everyone on. She goes, but it's personal and I want to ride in honor of my friend. And so, it was really sweet. She was hesitant about doing CoFab. She was like, well, I don't want to take this away from a younger kid who might need it. And I like had to kind of talk. I'm like, this is your dream. Like, and I want to be able to help you. And so we, through that workshop, developed the bike arm adapter for her. I think the thing that makes this story most special to me is that it was probably one of the first few times that I realized I have a very unique relationship with every single person we create a product for.
Yeah.
Because in many ways I see myself, and they almost reinvigorate like why I do all of this.
Yeah.
And sometimes challenge me to do the things they're doing. And in this case, that's what happened. It took, a year in a pandemic to get Jody on her bike with her bike arm adapter, invent this product and get her on her bike and start training. And the first time I saw her get on the bike and observe her using the product and ride off, I was like, damn, I have been living vicariously through you this entire time. And I thought about it. I was like, I haven't been on a bike. And I want to do this. And so 2 weeks before Pelotonia ride weekend, I looked at my team of like one intern and was like, hey, the year and a half it took to get Jody on her bike, in 2 weeks, I'm going to ride with her and you need to make me one.
Wow.
And I hadn't been on a bike in forever, 20 miles. I was like, okay, and so her and I rode Pelotonia 2021, 20 miles.
You hadn't trained at all.
Furthest either of us have really ever been able to ride a bike in our life. And
that's
so
awesome.
I think that is probably the coolest story, because it's something that I've started to love. I mean, riding a bike has been huge for me. I do it every year now. I've done Pelotonia the last few years. And then just this summer with our rapid growth, our plans to launch this thing commercially and take it nationwide. I wanted to do something big. There's been many times with starting Form 5 that like I feel called to just do something about, creating this workshop or creating this product or helping people. And so I just felt called that like the only way to really showcase the innovation of Form 5 and like set the intention that we want to take this thing to the next level was to ride my bike a great distance, and not just showcase what the bike arm adapter can do, but what people with limb differences can do.
Yeah.
And so this week I'm riding 190 miles from Indianapolis to Columbus. Showcasing the bike arm adapter. And we've been doing quite a bit of fundraising. Our goal is to raise $100,000.
Yeah.
We're like probably $40,000 of the way there. And it's just been another example of how the community has like shown up for Form 5.
Yeah.
And we have the track record. I mean, our impact is tenfold. When I first started the organization, I had the glasses on of the lenses of like, this is for people with limb differences. And it very much is. That's at core what we do. But the impact has grown. I mean, we hire high school and college interns every year. To see the development and the growth that those young people have and like finding their passion and for graphic design or engineering or whatever it is, through Form 5 has just been deeply amazing.
Yeah.
And the students that go through our workshops and our summer camps and They figure out what major they want to do and what they want to be when they grow up, and all of that in the vein of it's helping people.
For sure.
Has just been really, really amazing, and we want to do more of that. Like, we want to do more internships, we want to do more workshops. We've been very focused on the bike arm adapter,
Yeah.
and we want to see this thing go to the next level. But there's a lot of other things in tow, and so it takes funding to do that. And
For sure.
So,
For sure.
you know, we have a very strong business model. It's just at the point where we need to fund it and like really take everything to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. Really cool. Well, I hope somebody hears this that can
Yes.
help out with that, or numerous people, because it sounds awesome. It
Thank
sounds
you.
really cool. So in the meantime, you're working on this. You're still taking on some projects. So
Totally.
if
Yeah.
anybody
So
knows somebody that,
I encourage people to reach out. And I will emphasize this. We are broadening our definition of limb difference. You know, we get so many out of the box cases. You know, our last CoFab in the spring, we worked with a gentleman who has a pretty rapid neuromuscular disease. He's losing function of his hands.
yeah,
And we created products for him. Like, and so like, it's not just people who are missing their limbs, it's people who have their limbs, have lost function. And while we're sometimes creating these products for people with missing limbs, we're also looking at how something like this could be like, oh, wow, this could help someone, stroke patient, spinal cord injury, arthritis, Parkinson's disease, even. Like,
yeah,
the things we're creating, our innovation, Form 5's innovation really has no bounds.
yeah. That's awesome. It's really, really, really cool. So it's really focus on this bike adapter. What do you think is next? Are you so focused on that?
There's so many things focused. I mean, the bike arm adapter is a really market disrupting product. And, you know, I don't say that in a boastful way. I say that because we've just spent so much time listening to the
Yeah.
community and their needs. And so this is a product. It's not a prosthetic. It's not a medical device. We've engineered this in a way where it affixes to the handlebar
Yep.
of a bike and not the person. So it's not attached to their arm. No one wears it. And then something that's really unique to our design is that because we want to scale this nationwide, it's not custom to anyone's limb.
Yeah.
So we've created a sizing system where folks would fall within like not necessarily think of like a small, medium, large. Think of like a short, medium, and a long.
Yeah.
And even within that, there's different variations of sizing.
Wow.
It's like getting a shoe, and you figure out what size you are,
Yeah.
and then we ship it to you. And I think obviously that helps us from a scalability perspective, but there's also a component of a pay it forward model. You know, when you go to the medical process and you go get a prosthetic or something like that, it is 100% custom to you. And in some circumstances, that makes sense. Something as simple as riding a bike, it's not as necessary. And so what ends up happening is, you know, young kids, they grow
Yep.
pretty rapidly. And so we wanted to figure out a really innovative way to accommodate that growth scale. And so because the socket cup piece isn't designed to any one person's anatomy, if and when they outgrow it, they just move up a size.
Yeah.
And then the size that they were previously that component can come back to us. And because it wasn't designed for them, we then, if it passes quality control and they didn't break it, it's not damaged, we can, in theory, put that back into a device that it does fit the next person.
That's really cool.
That's completely unheard of in this space. And so, like, again, it goes back to like making this accessible, making it what the user wants.
Yeah.
We would have never known that without working with the people that we serve.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. So what is it? I guess how much it's going to take, you know, you need money obviously to make this happen, but I'm just thinking from a production standpoint, like how do you know, if this is going to take off, how do you mass produce these things?
Yeah. It's been a learning curve. You know, we have been known to date to really serve individual needs. And so this is kind of a different uncharted waters for us. And so truthfully, I mean, it's going to evolve what our organizational structure looks like.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is because we're balancing kind of two big priorities. One is, you know, meeting individual needs, creating new solutions. And then the other is like, how do we take that and scale it to serve more people?
Yep.
And so it's definitely going to kind of restructure how things are done. But I think really the long-term goal for us is that this is launching this product and subsequently others allows us to take our innovation further.
Yep.
And obviously make it more accessible to the broader community. But it's also going to help us like further our business model. So like launching these products in the marketplace, having a revenue stream that helps fund new innovation will be huge. You know, 8 years as a nonprofit, the goals and objectives that we have, the things that we're marching towards, organizations don't even think about what we're doing 20 years out. We're moving at lightning speed. And so we've been great stewards of our donors and the dollars that we receive. And so we're just excited about like, how can we invest in Form 5 and its innovation and see the impact grow? That's like the big thing for us. Like, I love that 30 people have tested the bike arm adapter nationwide and they're giving us feedback. But like, I know there's more than 30 people that need this.
For sure. You just got to get to them.
We just got to get to them.
Yeah. I got to touch on this because you're a tech guy, and we're talking to Brad on the way in, which you know Brad, which is awesome. Which I assumed you would. We were talking about AI a little bit, and like just in the couple weeks we recorded that episode, Brad's like, I've kind of changed my tune a little bit. So I just want to touch on AI specifically in your business. Like, is there a place for it? Are you utilizing it? Like, what are your thoughts there?
I mean, I would be a fool to say like, no, we do not use AI. No. I mean, everyone is using AI. I think the sooner you integrate it into your business, the better. You have to really understand. I think the way that we use AI is more, what's the best way to put it? It's probably more or less for like framework and organization.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of smart, creative people, and they're innovative, but it's like, how do we build a template, a framework, a matrix, whatever, that we leverage AI to like help build out that template?
Yeah.
I often describe Form 5 and like working with board members or volunteers or advisors that like, we have all the puzzle pieces. We need help putting it together. And I would say like in that frame of mind, that's how we use AI.
Yeah.
It's like, we have all the pieces of the puzzle. We just don't know where to start or how does this and this connect. And so we leverage AI in that way. I mean, in my day-to-day work, I mean, you know, there's a lot of AI that I use in terms of like helping me proofread grant applications or emails or donor appeals or things like that. You know, I like to write. I write quite a bit. And so I try not to use AI to write everything for me.
Yeah.
It's usually the more like an enhancement tool or to like proof check, you know, what I've already written. So, and it's great. I mean, I've done a lot of, I went to school during a time where there was no AI. And part of that, you know, I started Form 5 with no AI. So like there's a lot of existing grants and applications and write-ups and things that I've already have that I feed AI. So a lot of times AI is just regurgitating what I wrote.
Yeah, you're teaching it.
I'm teaching it,
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
And so that's really how we've started leveraging. And I having interns, you know, high school and college, every week, the first week of their internship, I always tell them, this will be the most unconventional internship you'll ever have. I never hide that from them.
Yeah.
But I did this summer put an emphasis of like, if you get stuck, if you don't know what to do, I'm going to tell you the opposite of what you're hearing in school. Use AI. Like use AI. The printer's not working. It's finicky. It's clogged, whatever. Ask AI. What setting is best to use? Or how do I take this apart? I think this day and age, it's less about what the technology can do. It's how you use the technology.
Yeah.
And if you can use it to be a better problem solver, then like there's no reason not to use it.
It's just, and it makes everything happen so fast. It's just lightning speed.
It is. And as we were just talking with Brad, I mean, everyone's been talking about like, this is how AI is going to change. No, it is actively changing everything right now.
100%.
Like in real time, we're seeing it.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable.
I brought back some bad memories for you when I brought up Alex.
Oh my gosh, the math software. Yeah, I had to do Alex in college, and that was not a fun
so you did it
time.
in college as well?
Oh yeah, Alex. That's.
I can't wait to tell my kids they're gonna have to keep doing it.
It never goes away. Alex is an interesting program, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's been fascinating to me just with the technology available, and I think our education system's changing, but. You know, when I look at, you asked me earlier about like, you know, did you think you were ever going to get into like tech and engineering and entrepreneurship? And like, I grew up, I obviously have a physical disability, I have a learning disability, and there were so many things that like in school that like I just learned differently. I interact with the
Yeah.
world differently. And I think there's a lot of students now that like, I read something online that like it's obviously like your elementary years are very formative, but like the whole oh well like you're just not good at math. Math's not your thing. Never say that to a kid. Like
Yeah.
never say that to a kid. Or like math's bad, or you don't like math, or math whatever. Like because I went to college thinking I'm awful at math. I hate math, whatever. But like I went to business school. I had to take calculus. I had to take
Yep.
accounting, which is not fun. But I took accounting. I passed it. A kid with a learning disability growing up in school, I was like, oh, I'm bad at math. I hate math. I'm not good at math.
Yeah.
I'll never be able to pass any of these classes. I had like a 98 in calculus. Like
Wow.
I just learned it differently. Like,
Yeah.
and so, I think it's just a matter of like figuring out how to use technology or resources available to like be successful. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
For sure. And then you touched on the McCoy Center, so you worked at the McCoy?
Oh my gosh, that's my other New Albany connection. So, well, I mean, really, so I did a lot of my success and being able to like do a podcast interview or talk to people on the street or go give a presentation to people I don't know. I attribute to doing theater as a kid.
Yeah.
All of my siblings did theater. Growing up in the McCoy, literally, through my sister's performances, my brother's performances, and then my performances, I was on stage. I performed, I sang, I danced, I did all those things as a kid. But then around high school time, I was like, I'm really curious, like, what happens backstage? Like, how does
Yeah.
the lights turn on? How does the sound happen? How do microphones work? Like, and so I flipped to technical theater in high school, and then was involved with helping the middle school create their theater department. So I was actually a technical director, and I helped start the middle school
That's
drama
awesome.
department. Which I looked at that as like, this is kind of like starting a new business concept. Like I
Yeah.
helped start their social media and like ran their social media and this and reaching out to news outlets and all the PR and all of it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like my little like incubator of like learning how to do all these things. But like that's another like love for technology. And so I ended up working a lot of events, just volunteering as a student. Because I
Yeah.
learned so much just while being there all the time that when I graduated high school, I worked part-time at the McCoy for quite some time under
awesome.
Kappa. And I always joke, that my position, when I was hired, it said stage hand. And I said, thank God it didn't say stage hands because I probably wouldn't have been qualified. But I had a great time. I mean,
That's
I look back at the time working at the McCoy, and it was a great way for me to stay connected to the community. And I absolutely loved just the people I'd cross paths with, people
Yeah.
that like went to school with my dad or, people, parents of, peers that I graduated with or folks that were in the musicals that I directed. And so it was just a really great place to
Yeah.
learn. And obviously the McCoy is a community hub, and now the Hinson Amphitheater as well. And I absolutely loved that time. And I still always have some connection to the arts. Like I'm still
Yeah.
always getting roped into helping volunteer in an event or attend a concert for the symphony or whatever. I mean, I love that. And again, I look at that, skill that I have of public speaking and talking
Yeah.
to people to like going through the arts. I mean, it's
Yeah.
huge.
Did you ever build any products or anything for theater? Like whether it was on stage or
I was involved a little bit in like props and sets and stuff. So
Okay.
I definitely helped with that.
Cool.
Back in the day, it was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I love the most about theater is the way that it allows. I've seen it so many times. Even people that go from back or on stage to backstage, or people who start on crew and end up somehow being the lead their senior year of high school. It allows people to find themselves and
Yeah.
find a group of people that are like them. And that's
Yeah.
like what I love about theater.
I loved it in high school. Like going to the shows was like, man, I loved doing that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
just seeing people, like the kids that you saw in the hallway all the time, and then like see them perform. You're
And
like,
they're like,
holy crap.
Yeah. And you're like,
Um,
that's your thing.
Yeah.
You're really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool.
So I got to touch on the name, Form 5.
Yeah.
So where'd you come up with the name?
Oh boy. So the name, when all of this started in high school, I had a blog that I was writing just about my like lived experience of having one hand,
Yeah.
and it was called Alive with 5. And so on that blog, I documented meeting people, getting my first prosthetic, what I liked, what I didn't like, all those things. And then eventually when I started doing research, I started documenting all that on the blog. And around the time that I was getting ready to give my TED Talk, my junior year of high school, I got really serious about wanting to turn this idea into like a nonprofit. Like I want this to be a company. I want this to be a nonprofit. I want to like take this and it be bigger than just Aaron. And so at that time, I was doing a lot of research in like a technique of molding plastic called thermoforming. It's like you heat up plastic sheets and whatever, and you form them. And so I was like forming, reforming, and like I was like, I like just like form. And then I was like, okay, so we have alive with 5, and I was like form 5. And so legally we're Form 5 Prosthetics Inc. But like over the last few years, people just like call us Form 5s. Like you go with what the people call you.
It's cool.
And it's really catchy. And we have intentionally now removed prosthetics from our branding because like we're not making really prosthetics. We're creating just adaptive products. We're trying to create these things in a way that are most accessible to people. And oftentimes we learn that like sometimes the most simple solution is the most effective. Like it doesn't have to be a limb. It could be something that just like goes on the table and helps someone like open their pill bottle. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
That's the type of work that we do. So that's the history of Form 5.
That's really cool. Well, I don't want to keep too much of your time, man. I thank you so much for coming on. Yeah. And I hope that this can help you reach more people. Man, I'm excited to see how it grows. Yeah. Good luck with the ride.
Thank you. Yeah. So this Saturday, September 13th, I will be crossing the finish line at North High Brewing in Westerville. So we're doing a big finish line celebration. So definitely encourage folks to come support that way. Proceeds from the bar come back to Form 5 that evening to support our cause.
So when is it again?
September 13th.
September 13th.
Saturday, September 13th at North High Brewing in Westerville. There's a bike path that runs literally right behind their beer garden. And so I'll cross the finish line there. We'll have balloons. The whole community is going to come out. And then we've been fortunate. There's a local band, up and coming band, Honey and Blue, that will actually be playing my finish line celebration, which has been really cool. I mean, they found out about Form 5 through one of our last fundraisers. I met with them, and she was telling me, she's like, my father had a physical disability. She's like, I'm like really moved by what you're doing. She's like, I didn't even know this existed. And the next thing you know, she's like, I would love to help you, and I will play a set at your finish line celebration. They have a huge following. So like they're going to draw a crowd. Obviously, really cool. Me riding my bike 190 miles is going to draw a crowd, I hope.
Yes.
And there's also a high state football game, so people can come hang out, celebrate, and then watch the game there. So
who do they play that week?
OU. It's not a big game.
That's all right.
But it's a game. People are like, hey, I want to get out of the house. I'm going to hit North High Brewing and support Form 5. That's what it's all about. So.
Man, awesome. Well, I look forward to following along.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to just share my story. And, I always look at it as if one more person knows about Form 5, that's a win.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Alrighty.
Be sure to follow us on social media for news, updates, everything that's happening in New Albany. You can visit whitefencelivingpodcast.com. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode of White Fence Living.
What I love about New Albany is the holiday tree lighting.
I love the Heights Center.
The walkability and convenience.
My favorite part of New Albany is you.